Alright, so this video has a purpose of getting your calculator programmed with a program that will have your name available to anybody who happens to find your calculator. So on the right side here, this is the first video with calculators that you've seen, but on the right side here I have the TI-84, and your version may be different than this one. It's a Plus C Silver edition, but regardless, your keypad will look very identical to mine. Your shape of your calculator may be different. On the left here, we're going to have a keypad press history. I'll clear it from time to time, but you can pause it so you can at least see the keys that I have pressed. And then up on the top left here, we got a slightly bigger version of the screen for the calculator. So if you look at the keys, I mean, a lot of them are abbreviated versions of fuller words, but if you look on the bottom left, your on and off key. Other features to look at on the keys here, above the keys you have these blue words and sometimes symbols. To access those, you need to press the blue second button first, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. You'll also see some green symbols, you'll see some letters that you need to press the green symbol first. So if we turn your calculator on, and you may get this screen the first time, I would say, honestly, this isn't a whole lot of information. I would just press do not show this message again. And once you start here, now you'll see your cursor blinking on the screen. This is your home screen where you can do operations, calculations, and we do a lot of our work from here. But there's other screens along the way. To show you a tip that will help you in pretty much any situation, so I'm going to press this math key here. And now I'm in a menu, and you can explore the menu if you like, scroll over. This is the basic structure of how a lot of the buttons work when you're pulling up a menu. You have options listed, and then you have these different kind of folders within the menu up at the top that have different purposes. But if you are ever in a menu or a page that you want to get back to the main page, what you can do is, if you notice this blue words here above the mode button, you have quit. So you can quit almost anything on the calculator. If you go second and then press the mode button, you'll be doing quit. And if you notice in the top right hand corner, I have a little arrow that tells me I'm doing the second option here. So anything above the key there, the blue. And if I press quit, and it's also a good measure to add on clear there. It'll just clear out your calculator and you're kind of back at the beginning. So that move will help you almost anytime. Feel free to play around, see if what you can do. I mean, you really can't hurt the calculator as far as pressing things. There's always ways to undo what you've done. But what we're going to be focusing on here is working on your program. So in the middle of your keys here, you have PRGM, the program button. If you press that, you'll be taken to a menu that, especially if you have a new calculator, or if you have one from a sibling, you might have some things on your screen. But you notice my screen is really blank. There are three kind of tabs under this folder, or three menus under this, or sorry, three folders under this menu, however you want to kind of think of it. But they're pretty empty right now. So if I scroll over, you notice up at the top this EXEC is highlighted. That means execute. We'll get back to that in a little bit. If you go over to the right, edit. Again, we'd have to have a program in here to be able to do some of these buttons. And new. So new is the first place we actually see something listed. And this is where you're going to go to create a program whenever you are trying to write a new program. And if you're familiar at all with programming, this is written in the basic language. If you're not familiar with programming, it's pretty much very straightforward. You're telling the calculator, you're telling a computer, basically, exactly what you want to do. So what we want the calculator to do after this program is done is we want it to basically just say whose calculator it is. So if you notice my cursor right now is blinking with a letter A, what that tells me is that so we want the name to be a word, it automatically is set to, it's going to use the letters, the green along on your keys. So we're going to name this program A, and then we're going to make it owner. Where's my W? You'll notice that the letters, especially if this is the first time you've ever done it, the letters are a little bit hard to find the first time. but you'll definitely get the hang of it. But reason we're naming it AA owner, which seems kind of weird, is your program list as you add programs in will be put in alphabetical order. We want this to be at the very top of your list, so we're naming it AA with an AA first, and then owner, just so people know what this program is intended for. So it's intended to show your ownership. So this is pretty much the only time you can edit the name of the program, so make sure that you are satisfied with the name before you click enter. So we're going to do the same. Everybody at Indian Hill is going to have the same program, or everyone in the 7th grade algebra classes anyway is going to have the same program, so that we all know how we can figure out whose calculator it is. So if you press enter, now we're into the screen where we're going to actually program. So there's the name of the program, and now we're going to start writing it. So we want to just have the calculator put out to the screen whose calculator it is. So we're going to go under and press the program, and I'll clear this history so we can see this. We're going to press the program button, and now we're taken into a new screen. When you're in writing a program and you press the program button, you go into the screen that has all the different commands. Now we have 4 menus up at the top here: CTL, IO, color, EXEC. You may not have all of these menus, the color menu especially, depending on what version. But if you scroll over to the I/O, we're going to be using 2 commands here. The DISP tells the calculator to display something out to the screen. But first, before we do that, just to help our user, we're going to use number 8. You can scroll down, you can press 8, or you can press enter. And we want to tell the calculator to clear home. Clear home means to clear out the home screen, clear off anything that happened to be on that screen. So I'm going to clear my history. Now when we do calculator programming, you're going to go line by line, and you're going to add lines for every single little command that you want the calculator to do. So I'm going to press enter and start a new line. So once the calculator has cleared the home screen, I'm going to go back into program, and I'm going to start doing the display, what I want it to say. So DISP now tells the calculator what comes next is what I want you to display. So we're going to be using letters here. We want kind of display a sentence. And the thing about the TI-84, the special with the programming here, is we can't type in, well, we can, but it's not going to work out very well. We can't type in a very long sentence here. And I'll show you, I could show you at the end what happens, but we can only type in a limited number of characters. And if we want words to show up, we need to put them in quotations. So I'll show you exactly how long, but it's going to have to be several lines that we're going to do here along the way. So if I press second and alpha, now you notice I have, why I did second and alpha is because I want to use a lot of letters here in a row. I want to use a lot of the green commands. So I put a lock on, I put alpha lock on. So I'm going to type in quotation marks, and the quotation mark is above the plus sign. I'm going to say this, and if you need help with what the buttons are, you can look at the key press history. And I want to put a space. The space is above the 0. So this, it's that little sideways bracket looking thing. I'm going to say this calculator. This calculator. Now, if you accidentally make a mistake and you type in, so I type in 2 R's, but I only want 1. If I use my arrow keys, I can scroll over to the letter. Don't press clear, because clear will clear out the entire line. If I scroll over to the letter I want to get rid of and press delete, D-E-L here, I can get rid of that, and then I can scroll back over and keep on typing. So this calculator, now yours may go on to 2 lines, but it's pretty short, the distance that you can actually fit on the screen. If you type in one big long sentence, what will happen is the words will actually go off the screen, and you may or may not be able to actually end up seeing them. So we're going to do this on several lines. So I'm going to do this calculator. I'm going to press enter to do a new line here. And I'm going to go to program, and I'm going to find the display again. Then I'm going to do second alpha, so I'm into the letters again, and I'm going to say this calculator belongs to belongs to, excuse me, belongs to, close my quotation marks. And last line, I'm going to put my name. So I'm going to go again, program, display, second alpha, and I'm going to put in, so you should probably put your name and not my name. And I'm going to say Miss Morrison. Luckily, this calculator's on my computer, so I'm not going to be losing it. But if you do lose yours, now here's the way that someone can know who it belongs to. Now, if you want to expand on this and maybe go and put more lines in that says, please call your phone number, or maybe your email address would be a good idea, your IH Apps email address. These would all be good ideas. But take a look, and your program should look pretty similar to mine. Now, if you check your quotation marks is what I would say. Make sure you have this all on different lines. And if you're ready, we're going to go back to the main screen and actually see how to run the program. And so this would be true on any TI-84 that you might find. Maybe someone drops it in the hallway. You can see who their calculator belongs to. So if you do remember to get out of a program or get out of something, a menu, you say second and then quit above the mode key, and I'm just going to clear again to kind of get in that habit of clearing out the screen. Now if I go to program, and now I have something in the EXEC. So execute means to run a program. So if I want to run the program, I'm on the execute menu, and I can either press 1 or press enter because I'm already on that program. And it's going to call the program up. I want to make sure that there was nothing else typed in before this. Otherwise, the program won't run as I intended. So if I press enter now on the screen, it's going to run your program. So you'll notice here, if I maybe have some things typed on the screen, I did some calculations, etc., and now I go run the program. If you remember, so program and then EXEC, and I'm going to press enter to run the program. Notice it cleared out everything that I had before and just brought up my words that I wanted to display to the screen. Now, just to show you really quick, because I have a little time here, if you need to edit the program, if you want to change something, add something, you're going to go to edit. Later on, I'll show you how you can go in and actually make it so the program can't be edited. Because if it's an owner program, you probably don't want somebody to come along and be able to change the name. But if I go to edit, just want to show you guys really quickly. And all I'm going to do is do some deleting here. And I know this isn't going to make sense, I'm not going to worry about the spaces or anything. If I had done one big long line, and I'm just going to show you again on the main screen here, and I run my program, what happens is you see here my sentence runs off the screen. And now I can't really use the arrow keys, and I just ran it, and I can't use the arrow keys to actually see what's on there. So I'm pressing the right key and nothing's showing up. So you really do, when you're writing words to the screen, you got to make sure your calculator has a limited number of characters across it. Yours would be even smaller than the one that I'm using most likely. So hopefully now you've got your program and we can tell whose calculator is whose.